So Eddie Hearn has come out and said that he is planning on making a crazy bid to get Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 2, the rematch. If it goes to purse bids anyway, he wants to get the rematch on DAZN. Now this is interesting to me because Eddie Hearn has accused Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury of trying to, use Anthony Joshua's name to kind of increase their popularity or increase their stock, which he has. He absolutely has. Or which they have, I should say. But Eddie Hearn is doing the exact same thing with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. He's trying to piggyback off this as much as he can conceivably can because he saw the success that their pay-per-view did. Their pay-per-view wasn't a Mayweather-Pacquiao in terms of numbers, but it did very well. For two fighters who are not really pay-per-view fighters, it done very well. And I think Eddie Hearn says that he's happy that it succeeded, but I think deep down he didn't want it to. Because the American market, if you can make it big in the American market, that's where the money is. And I think Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are making it, not big in the American market, but they're doing well. And I think that this rematch, if it happens on Showtime pay-per-view, as I said in my previous video, I think it'll do good numbers. I think it'll do very good numbers. I think it'll be an improvement on the first fight because the people will be a bit more interested in it. It's a rematch. There's more reason. There's more, what's the word? People are more, what is the word? I forget. It come to me. But people are more interested in this fight now, I think, because of the robbery in the first time. They really want to see who the better man is. Most people think Tyson Fury, like myself. But Deontay Wilder, does he have something to prove? A lot of people remember the knockdown in the 12th round. So I think that this pay-per-view, if it is on pay-per-view and Showtime, will do better numbers. I think Eddie Hearn is trying to piggyback off that. I think that Eddie Hearn, he's using this to get, I think, maybe Joshua's name out there. But he's using this, I think, to just, to piggyback off what Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are doing, essentially, making everything sound so complicated. Do I think he could potentially get it on DAZN? I mean, it depends how deep the heads of DAZN are willing to pay, how deep their pockets are, which I hear they're very deep. Would Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury be willing to fight on DAZN? If that was Golden Boy, I'd say maybe. With Eddie Hearn, would they do it just to spite him, just not fight on it? Possibly. The reason Eddie Hearn is able, if this fight goes to purse bid, so this is only in the instance that the fight goes to purse bid. The reason that Eddie Hearn is discussing a purse bid is because I touched on this, is that when it goes to a purse bid, a fight goes to purse bid anyway, anyone can bid on it. As far as I'm aware, Bob Arum from Top Rank could bid on have this fight on ESPN if he wanted to. I think it was Kubrat Pulev when he went to a purse bid with Dylan White. Now, I could be wrong, it might have been someone else, but I think it was Dylan White. I forget who it was who actually won the purse bid, but I actually forget who it was. But it wasn't Sauerland and it wasn't Eddie Hearn. And that was the main reason why Dylan White didn't go for it, because he was getting absolutely shortchanged to hell to fight Kubrat Pulev. But a purse bid, anyone can essentially go for it. I think retrospectively, I think they can. So Eddie Hearn, a crazy bid, what would that be? You got to think, how much money did both guys? Both guys made a lot of money for the first fight. So you got to figure they're going to be expecting a lot more money for the second fight. So Eddie Hearn, really, he's going to have to get his, he's going to dig deep in his pockets if he wants to get this fight on DAZN. That's even saying if the fighters will even go to DAZN. Everyone's got a price at the end of the day. I'm sure that if Eddie Hearn flashed enough cash at Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury to get that fight in DAZN, they'd probably both agree to it. And yeah, Eddie Hearn, he really is, put it like this, when this fight does get announced, expect Eddie Hearn to be discussing this fight a lot. They're talking about this fight a lot, trying to bring it up as much as he can. I think that deep down, he does probably want Fury and Wilder to succeed, but I don't think he wants him to steal any of the limelight off Anthony Joshua. And I think that when that fight was announced, when that fight was getting talked about up in Belfast back in the end of August, it really was kind of taken away a bit from Anthony Joshua, because he was getting ready to fight Povetkin, and people were talking about Wilder Fury as opposed to Joshua Povetkin. And I think that seeing the success that the first fight has had, and it was a successful fight, Eddie Hearn knows that there's a lot more success to come in the second fight, which I think I've already said, but I'm saying again, I think he knows there's a lot more success to come in the second fight, and he probably wants to be part of that. He thinks, if I can't beat them, then I'll join them. And I think that's what Eddie Hearn wants. I don't think Eddie Hearn wants to necessarily sabotage the fight. I could be wrong. Eddie Hearn could be very sly like that. He could be very spiteful. But I don't think he would. I don't think that Eddie Hearn is quite that spiteful. I think he just wants to make as much money as he can. I think he wants to help promote the Anthony Joshua name. Because if that fight's on DAZN pay-per-view, expect a lot of people to mention Anthony Joshua a lot in the build-up to that fight, if it happens. Now, it may not For all we know, Al Heyman could turn around and, although Al Heyman's not official promoter, Al Heyman could just turn around and put that fight, make a crazy bid, put it on Showtime pay-per-view in, Vegas this time, for all we know. And that could be the end of it. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Eddie Hearn could be just talking, out as you know what, for all we know, about putting that purse bid on. I do find Eddie Hearn interviews, some of them can be good, and some of them you're just like, are you even serious? Eddie Hearn he's a good promoter, but I think as a character, there's things he comes out with that I just find, I don't know, I just find him somewhat of a disagreeable character sometimes. When you hear him in interviews, you're just like, what? But he's better than, I'd say, Eddie Hearn in terms of promoters. He's one of the best out there, definitely. And he's one of the more, and I've heard people say he is one of the more approachable promoters. You could approach Eddie Hearn, whereas guys like Frank Warren or Bob Arum, they're very kind of set in their ways, and you probably wouldn't be able to approach them as much. So those are my thoughts on that. Feel free to leave yours down below. I planned to make this video only a couple of minutes, and I've gone on to 6 minutes, but that's that. Anyway, leave your thoughts down below, and let me know what you all think.